And here he is, Jeremy Thake.
Thank you, David. Thanks, guys. I think this is the first time I've ever spoke with people up in the archives there, and please no heckling. This is not a comedy show. So today, as David said, I wanted when David reached out to me to the keynote, I wanted to try and pick a topic that I thought would be valuable to you guys. Now, you know, I've sat down there before, and I was a consultant before I joined AvePoint, where I was the chief architect for 7 years and used to come to these events. And especially when you get Microsoft speakers up here, you know, the last thing you want is death by PowerPoint slides, right? Right? So today I figured I'd be very bold, and I'm actually going to do pretty much the entire session of demo. And I'm going to show, essentially through this, the value of what I get out of it from an information worker when I'm using all of the products that we have. And hopefully you'll see some value in there and some usage that you can take back to your teams, whether it's based on that PowerPoint, the power poll there, of seeing that there's a lot of you still on SharePoint 2010, the value of what it would do if you moved to 2013, SharePoint Server, or whether you move to SharePoint Online. And obviously there's some other products that we're going to be showing that aren't necessarily just purely SharePoint, but that's just the reality of where we're going at Microsoft now. We're not really thinking about Exchange as one product and SharePoint as another and Lync as another product. And hopefully you'll see that as we weave in through these demos, is that as a consultant or as a customer that's consuming our technology, it is all about kind of weaving those things together as one big giant piece of technology that you can leverage as a business user to empower you during the day. So David did a great introduction to myself, so I'm going to skip my intro slide totally, only to the point where if you do want to reach out to me, I do tweet a lot. My tweets are very much around the developer story because that's the area that I moved into at Microsoft, and I also blog a lot on the developer story as well. So one quick thing, when I came here this week, I got in a little bit early because I was in Branson for another conference over the weekend, and I think the best description I've had of this hotel is it has a lot of character. I was one of the first people to check in, and I think I scared everybody by showing this photo where, for whatever reason, my light in my bathroom wasn't working, and so the engineers have decided to put in a lamp in the sink with the cable dangling in the sink and the power on. He did actually come by yesterday to replace it, and he did apologize that the lighting situation wasn't as up to speed as what I probably would have expected from a luxury hotel. But you know, it's always fun to travel and witness some of these things as you go around. I guess the other thing here is, has anyone worked out what the hell this dial is yet in this hotel? Has anyone been brave enough to actually turn the dial? Did it do anything? Okay. I guess it's that user thing, right? People see people with new technology and they're like, wow, that's cool, what the hell's that? I look at something 70 years old and go, oh my God, what the hell is that button for? So, I promise you no more slides, that's it. So we're rocking straight into demos now. So I will invite up Andrew Connell and John to actually come up and be my demo dollies today. So just a big round of applause here. Demo dollies. And so I'm going to jump straight in. And some of the scenarios I wanted to talk about was, as I say, across the stack. So there's some things that I think a lot of people don't realize are available in all of these products that really make my job a lot quicker. And so I'm hoping you get something out of kind of operating this way. Now, we are relying a lot on the internet Wi-Fi. I'm not going to do a Steve Jobs thing where I'm going to stand on the stage here and demand that everyone shuts their laptops and turn their phones off. But if the internet does get too shoddy, I might have to pull the Steve Jobs card and ask you guys to close your laptops so that we can consume the bandwidth. But let's just see how we go. I have been told by the hotel the internet's fine, but as these guys know, we never trust hotel people when it comes to the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly start a meeting here, and I'm going to invite, and Andrew has the luxury of being Chris Johnson, who's my manager today, and John has the luxury of being Arpan. And we're just going to catch up about the SPTechCon keynote. And all I'm going to do is simply click in there that I'm going to have a Lync meeting. But one other really nice feature, how many of you guys in the audience use OneNote? Okay, so it's quite funny. It was always kind of the underused product within the Office suite. It's been in the suite for a long, long time, and it's only really in the last year that you've seen us push it quite heavily. Ari Shaw sits around the corner from me in Building 1 in Redmond, and he has the lucky job, because I'm very jealous because I love this product so much, of being that OneNote guy, and there's some stuff we're going to show today that literally only just came out about 12 hours ago. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click that OneNote button, and what that allows me to do is click in, and I'm going to pick that I'm going to put these notes in this section. So not only can they join the meeting from the email, but they'll also be able to go and open up those OneNotes. And I'm going to send that meeting invite there. Now I'm going to switch, and this is something that's pretty cool, so I appreciate David and the team for setting this up. We can actually see Andrew's iPad screen at the same time as my Windows machine. So he's going to come in here and get that meeting invite, and he'll actually accept it. Now while he's doing that, I'm going to jump into Lync and join that meeting. Now, one thing is I jumped into Lync via the email invite, but another feature inside Lync 2013 is this calendar view here. And if I click on that, that'll show me all the available meetings I've got, so I can actually double-click and launch those directly. Now you can immediately see that it looks like our Wi-Fi is down. So I'd really appreciate it, guys, if you could, oh, it's not too bad. It might be just Lync. Let's try that again. There you go. I'm just going to mute that. So you'll see that Arpan, i.e. John, on the Android device has actually already joined the meeting. And Andrew is going to switch over to Lync. And he'll be able to join that too. Now, while Andrew's joining that meeting, the nice thing here, and there you go, you can see John's lovely face. The lighting in here isn't the most spectacular, and you'll see in a demo later on that it's going to be a little bit challenging. You look great, John. You weren't out late last night, were you?
Not too.
No. So while he's doing that, I'm actually going to go and share my desktop. So I'm going to share my desktop so they'll be able to see that, and then I'm going to jump over to OneNote, and you'll see that it's created that page for me. And the nice thing about when you create the meetings directly inside OneNote is I can actually get directly to all of my contacts here. So it's linked off based on the meeting information, and you can see here that I can get even more information out through that. Now I'm going to start creating some notes, but one thing that I use in OneNote a lot is this concept of actions. So in the meetings I have with my team, I'll actually go through and I'll say, we need to chase up David about feedback on the Keynote, and I'm going to make sure I get AC and Jane a beer after the Keynote, and we're good to go. Now, the nice thing is once AC is is the Wi-Fi just not playing along. Just go into OneNote. No, the next one. All right, I'll let him struggle along and see whether he gets the refresh. It looks like that one's fighting on the Wi-Fi. So what's actually going to happen, if those guys can operate their machinery, is they'll actually start seeing the notes. So right now, John, I can see, is in the OneNote. And unfortunately, we can't share the Android and the iPad at the same time, although I think I picked the wrong guy to share on screen.
No, device.
Wrong device to put on screen. and so John can see those notes. And what you'll see here is that as I'm writing my notes, you'll see that John's actually making his notes as well. So there's this real-time collaboration you're getting in your OneNote. Now, OneNote is very, very powerful at creating this unstructured data and storing your meeting minutes or various other things inside here. Now, in my real environment, which obviously I can't show you because there's way too much NDA information now, I have many, many notebooks on the left-hand side. I have lots of different sections as I file my notes. We do a lot of work with the education sector where we see a lot of students using this, especially now on these the Surface Pros with the pens, where people are actually using this rather than paper notebooks. Now, I have the pen with my Surface Pro 3, Now, part of the OneNote experience is I can actually make notes. Now, for anyone that's worked at Microsoft or currently works at Microsoft, they'll know that right now the in thing from a diagram perspective is this drawing. Now, Microsoft goes through phases apparently, and most managers will actually go through and draw this diagram, and they'll be able to fit anything they're talking about into this diagram. It gets quite scary, and if you're not used to it, it takes a little bit of a while, and apparently to make the manager levels, this is the diagram you have to join. So for instance, when I'm in here, for the in-person events that we run, we've actually just released a new Office Summit. So I've got an Office Summit coming in New York, Miami, and Moscow. There's going to be 14 in total. We've announced the 3. Oh, he's got one. He's got that. But we've also got Microsoft Virtual Academy. So I'm just going to move this down a bit because I'm touching my screen. So I've got Microsoft Virtual Academy as well. Now, the Microsoft Virtual Academy is available at microsoftvirtualacademy.com, and that has on-demand training for Office 365. So you can go there and download various different tutorials. There's hands-on labs there. But also, you can get all those presentations pulled down directly from those links, right? So there you go. So I've managed to fit my discussion around training into this diagram. It's amazing how powerful this diagram is. Now, the key here is that I don't need a whiteboard. And if these guys were remote and they weren't sitting next to me, they'd be able to see that demonstration. And if they had their pen, they'd be able to do those drawings too. One of the advantages of doing this in OneNote, and depending on how scribbly my handwriting is if I search for the word summit, you'll see that immediately it starts finding my handwriting directly in OneNote. Now, I use this feature a lot because I do a lot of handwriting in meetings. I don't like sitting there typing on my keyboard in meetings. I find that people don't think you're listening and you're not actually taking part in the meeting. Whereas if you're just writing on the screen, it feels like you're part of that meeting and just taking notes. And this allows me to do those searches. I can convert this to text as well, so I can come in here and do convert inks to text and actually pull that through. Now, I'm hoping while I've been doing the drawings, has AC got
Yeah,
you have? Okay. So you'll see there that he has made it, and you'll now see that on the left screen here, that on my left, that he's actually put that comment in. Now, that allows us to collaborate in one place in an unstructured way, and now we can do this in Word as well, but I just find that OneNote is a great place to do this from a collaboration thing if you're in Lync. This OneNote is located inside my OneDrive for Business and accessible by these guys. I did have to share that out to be able to do that collaboration story, but it's a very powerful scenario for users when they want to collaborate information in a free way. One of the other features of OneNote, which is a little bit kind of underused, and we know this from research, is if I did want to make that an action, I can do Control-1, and we'll get the tasks. So maybe in the next meeting, I can go back to my previous meeting notes, see those tasks, and I can just chase up and go, okay, did we chase up on David about the feedback and check it? To go further, right now it only works in OneNote on the desktop. If I go up here to the top, and I go back to the home screen, there's Outlook tasks. When I click on Outlook tasks, I can pick that I'm going to chase up with David tomorrow. What that's actually done is if I go over to Outlook and go over to my task screen, you'll immediately see here that the chase up about feedback on the Keynote has become a task in my Outlook, which means that if I go to my iPad and look at my tasks, if I go to my Windows Phone and look at my tasks, I will actually be able to track all my tasks directly in Outlook. It's a really powerful feature of OneNote that I use. I'm a very heavy user of those tasks. Now, another neat little thing is this concept of being able to add images into these things. So I'm hoping that Andrew is ready for this next demo. But essentially what we can do is, often we'll be traveling, we'll have receipts. So this is actually a receipt. I'll have a look on this screen. I was in a hotel on Saturday, and I made the rookie mistake of getting up early on Sunday and rushing to the airport. I got to my hotel room here, and I looked to take my suit jackets out of my suitcase and put it in the wardrobe, and realized that I'd left them in the hotel in Branson. So this receipt here is just a memory of the fact that that's happened. Now, he's taken that photo there, and he's injected that directly into the meeting minutes. And what you'll see is that in a moment, when I pull through on that Wi-Fi, that receipt will immediately come up on my screen. Now, the cool part about this is, and I use this a lot as well, is when I'm traveling, I take pictures of all my receipts, but I want to find my receipt for a certain reason. Now, when he takes it in the iPad, right now there is one thing you do need to do, which is you need to make the text searchable. But if I go in here now, and I just do a search for suits, you'll actually see that it's searched already. Trust him to try and distract me. It's searched already, and it's found the word suits in that receipt that was taken on Andrew's iPad. So it allows you to go and discover images and information on images directly inside OneNote. Again, a really, really powerful tool. There's some work that's been done that was announced on blogs.office.com last week, where you can screen scrape websites and just snapshot them into OneNote, and then you can search those websites based on the actual screenshots. And again, there's a lot of compelling scenarios around that as well. So OneNote is just something that is simply, I find, I can't live without it now on my devices, especially the fact that it roams across Android, iPad, and the PC, and obviously the browser if you're using other platforms as well. So definitely check out the OneNote thing, and I'm just going to read what, yes, thank you, yes. Okay, that was not rehearsed. I appreciate that one.